sees the return of the Premier League. Of course, Erling Haaland leads the charge for Manchester City. And of course, Erik ten Hag has taken over the broken Manchester United. Who's going to take advantage in the opening weekend? We're going to take a little look next. Right, folks, back once again in our prediction video. Today we're taking a look at the brand new squeaky clean Premier League season, of course, 2022-2023. Who's going to come out on top in match number 1? We'll take a look at that and more in just a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and bang up to date with all things Premier League related, Pepper Rose related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roofski, of course, a lot to talk about. Of course, the winners of last season's prediction league, and of course, the brand new squeaky clean Super Brew prediction league, alongside, of course, the small matter of this weekend's matches. We'll take a look at that, of course, in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. But anyway, let's get into it, of course, and talk about this. It is the Premier League. That's right. Of course, before all that, though, we're going to recap the results from the final day of the prediction league. Of course, this season we're doing it a little bit different. We are using Super Brew, which is absolutely fantastic. It's free, so get in here. I don't get paid by the guys, unfortunately, but if you go here, cut/EPL Prem, that is the link to this season's Super Brew. Fantastic stuff. Get in there early, get your predictions in, and of course join the ride. I'll show you all about that in a little bit more detail in a second. Of course, now before we get in the deep end, let's recap of course the results of the Premier League. Manchester City came out top by a point. It's fine margins at the top of the table over Liverpool, of course, who were in second spot. There was a massive gap between Liverpool and then Chelsea, and Spurs squeaking into Champions League football. And of course, haven't they been busy this coming season? Burnley, though, are down. They're down in the Championship. Of course, Watford joined them, and so do Norwich. How bloody fantastic is that? You finally rid yourself of them six-fingered freakazoids of Burnley. Thank heavens you can clean that Premier League up. Make sure you wash it from top to toe. Get rid of all any lingering Burnleyness, and of course, enjoy a new season without them. Anyway, we'll take a look at the new Premier League in a second, but let's take a look at how we all got on with the prediction. Now, these are the final results, of course, the last bunch of results, of course, for the last games. Joachim Jakobsen and the chasing pack, they're all getting 8 points, which, of course, added onto their tally. Now, of course, you win nothing for this. That's just, of course, who won the final week's predictions. So a whole host of you got 8 out of 10 games, of course, right. Let's take a look at the mini leaderboard. Now, again, you get absolutely nothing for this, but, of course, from January onwards, throughout the end of the season, Max Sangari came out on top with 107 points, with Iman Hussein in second spot, Hansworth in the power 3. Moving forward, though, here we go. There's the money score here. Who actually came out on top and won the prediction league from match number 1 all the way through to the bitter end. That's why you got to get in early. And of course, look at that. Max Sangari with 192 points. Was it 11 better off than Iman Hussein, and Master Fighter alongside Hansworth are in bronze. You get nothing for silver or bronze, but you do get a gift card of $10 or something like that for Max Sangari. So what you got to do is get in touch with me one way or another, and of course we'll hook you up with some bling of some sort. Moving forward, though, we are going to be taking a look at, we're not done there, though. We are not done there, so don't go thinking, you know, I've not won nothing. Well, you can still win here, guys, because we're going to take a look at the prediction league predictor of the month winners. Of course, these are the list of the names of who won each and every one of the months. Of course, you can win multiple months. Tom Stainer, of course, kicked us all off with a bunch of other people in August, getting themselves in there and in with a chance to win a gift card of the same value of the prediction league. So you can chance for double up here. So Max Sangari won a couple of months there, so he could end up winning. He actually won 3 months. He could win here as well, so we could double up his tally. We'll have to see about that in a second. So these are the names that are going to go into the Wheel of Destiny. What's the Wheel of Destiny? Well, I'm going to show you that right now. Here we go, folks. Here is the Wheel of Destiny. Now, in here are the winners of the predictor of the month, stretching from August all the way through to May. Some names are in there twice because they did, in fact, win multiple months, which you can do. But of course, what we're going to do now is spin it. Whoever comes out on top will win as pretty much an identical prize as the winner of the predictor of the month. So here it goes. Here we go. It is, oh my gosh, it's a double. Max Sangari gets a double victory here, so well done to him. Does make it a little bit cleaner on me for the old admin stakes, but well done. Of course, so it goes to show, not only if you are, of course, from here, from match number 1, but also through and pop up randomly, you can still win, even if you just predict a month's worth and get yourselves a good score line there. So that's, of course, the state of play for those guys. Let's have a little look then, shall we? Let's remind ourselves of what we're talking talking about. It is the Prediction League. It is coming at you. It's free. It's always free. You don't have to pay a dime, of course. But this season it's coming out as Super Brew. So make sure you check that out. It's free to enter. It's a good bit of fun, and it makes it a lot more easier on my end. It's also a little bit different because we're actually scoring for correct scores and all that kind of stuff. So it's all about getting your scoreline right, not necessarily picking the right side or picking a draw. So it is a little bit more detailed this time around. Of course, a lot less work on my end. But anyway, what we're talking about, we're talking about this. It is this season's Premier League, and let's remind ourselves of the 20 clubs that will be here. We have Arsenal, of course, they're there. Villa joined them. Bournemouth return. Brentford are there still. No Eriksen though. Brighton could be busy in the transfer market. Chelsea yet to really make their major moves. Crystal Palace, Everton, of course, hanging on for dear life. Fulham and Leeds under, of course, Jesse Marsh. Leicester City are there in the mixer. Liverpool, of course, looking to get one better than Manchester City, of course, current champions, and United are far behind there with Erik ten Hag. The money boys, Newcastle United, could be spending. They're yet to really explode onto the transfer market. Forest, of course, returned for about 20 years of absence, so they're back in the Premier League, so it's good to see them. Southampton as well, could be a bit of pressure for them. Spurs have been very, very active. They look very, very good this campaign. West Ham, and then Wolves make up the 20, who are, I think, my little dark horses to go down, of course. But anyway, those are the teams. These are the situation heading into match number 1. We've got a brand new squeaky clean league on the left-hand side, and these are the first games. So what we're going to do is predict each and every one of them with a bit of data. So let's get into it, of course, and have a little look what's going to happen on match day number 1. Kick it all off with Crystal Palace up against Arsenal at Selhurst Park. It's the Patrick Vieira derby. That's right, Vieira at the helm for Palace up against Mikel Arteta's boys, who've been very, very good in pre-season, of course. At Selhurst Park on the 5th of August, 24 times they played just since 1994. 4 wins for Palace, 12 wins for Arsenal, and we've got 8 draws between them. Of course, Palace, though, unbeaten the last 3 games, 58% form up against the Arsenal side, 100% form heading into this, of course, stretching on from pre-season into this. The biggest win for Palace over Arsenal, 3-0 win. The biggest win in the way was a 5-1 win for Arsenal. In fact, Arsenal scored 43 goals compared to Palace's 28. Works out around about 1.79 goals a game for Arsenal compared to the 1.17 goals by Crystal Palace. Palace, though, haven't lost in any of the last 9 home matches, and they've actually won 3 in a row. Arsenal have a winning streak of 6 games. However, last time played each other, which was back on April the 4th, 3-0 win it was for Palace at Selhurst Park. And actually just one defeat for both these two sides heading into this against each other. There's been a lot of draws between these two sides. Palace did pick up a 4-2 win over Montpellier in a pre-season friendly. Arsenal with a big 6-0 win over Sevilla, also in pre-season. The odds here, 3-1 is your Palace, 6-5 on is your Arsenal, and 13-5 is your draw. Arsenal been good in pre-season. This will be a tough game. All eyes on this. Again, opening day, opening weekend, there are going to be some shockaroonies, but I think Arsenal will get over the line this time around. Moving forward, the early kickoff at Craven Cottage is Fulham, of course, up against Liverpool on the 6th of August. Marco Silva's Fulham up against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Played each other 30 times since 2001. 7 wins for Fulham, 18 wins for Liverpool, and 5 draws. Of course, 50% form for both sides heading into this, winning 3 and losing 3, of course. Biggest win for Fulham over Arsenal was a 3-1 win. The biggest win, biggest win for Fulham over Liverpool was a 3-1 win. The biggest win was a 4-0 win. Fulham have scored 24 goals compared to Liverpool's 55. Works out about 0.8 goals a game for Fulham compared to 1.83 for Liverpool heading into this. Last time played each other over at Craven Cottage. It was a draw back in December 2020. Fulham, though, actually unbeaten against them over back-to-back games. They're actually last time they were in the Premier League, they were unbeaten against them. Pick up a win at Anfield and a draw at Craven Cottage. However, Fulham did pick up a win against Estoril. Liverpool with a big 3-1 over Manchester City in the Charity Shield. Looking at the odds on this one, we have 9-1 as your Fulham, 10-3 on as your Liverpool, and 4-1 is your draw. Liverpool will win this one comfortably, 3-0 win on the end. Again, got to get off to a flyer. Manchester City will be looking to do the same, but for me, a good win for Liverpool on the road. Bournemouth up against Aston Villa coming at you at the Vitality Stadium. Of course, Bournemouth are there. Scotty Parker at the helm up against Aston Villa and Stevie Gerrard. Played each other 5 times, done 15-3 for Bournemouth, 2 for Villa, and 0 draws. Bournemouth, though, back-to-back defeats for them heading into this up against the Villa side, unbeaten in the last 5 games, 75% form, of course. Biggest win for Bournemouth over Villa, 2-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 1-0 win. In fact, Bournemouth has scored 7 goals compared to Aston Villa's 6. Works out around about 1.4 goals a game compared to the 1.2 by Aston Villa. Meanwhile, last time played at the Vitality was a 2-1 win for Bournemouth. In fact, Bournemouth are 3 games unbeaten against Aston Villa. They've all been 2-1, whether home or away. In fact, they've got a better record away than they have at home. Last time around, of course, Bournemouth did lose to Sociedad. Villa picking up a 2-1 over Rennes indeed. 21-10 is your Bournemouth, 23-20 is your away win, 13-5 is your draw. That's, of course, the bookies odds. I'm going with a 2-1 from Villa to, of course, reset the blocks, reset the clocks. Meanwhile, moving forward is Leeds up against Wolves, of course, over at Ellen Road. Of course, Jesse Marsh will need to get off to a flyer. They do not want to be down the drop zone at the end of the campaign. 23 times they played since 2003, 8 wins for Leeds, 11 wins for Wolves, 4 draws, of course. Leeds, though, though, just one defeat past 6 for them, 67% form for them, of course, heading into this. Meanwhile, Wolves, 50% form for them, 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. The biggest win for Leeds over Wolves, 4-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 3-0 win. In fact, Wolves have scored 33 goals compared to Leeds' 29 over the course of those 23 games. Works out around 1.26 goals a game for Leeds United, and 1.43 for Wolves heading into this. Last time around, though, over at Allen Road, it was a draw back in October 2021. Wolves pick up a draw against Sporting Lisbon, and of course, in pre-season, Leeds a draw against Crystal Palace. The odds, though, 13-10 is your Leeds, 2-1 is your Wolves, and 5-2 is your draw. Jesse Marsh's boys need a bit of business in the. They've lost Rafinha, they lost Phillips. They've brought in some players that are coming in here with a big question mark on their heads. We'll see how they get on in the opening day. Meanwhile, Forest go to the St James's Park. Of course, an absolutely fantastic occasion this will be. Play each other 15 times in 1994. 8 wins to Newcastle, 4 for Forest, and 3 draws as well. Newcastle, they're winning 4 of the last 6, 67% form against the Forest side, who've won 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 over the last 6, 50% form heading into this. Of course, last time around at St James's Park, it was a 3-2 win for Forest in the EFL Cup back in August 2017. Last time they played each other in the league, though, it was a 3-1 for Newcastle back in December 2016. Forest picking up a 1-1 draw against Valencia. Newcastle with a 2-0 win over Bilbao in pre-season. 2013 on is your Newcastle, 3-1 is your draw, 4-1 is your Forest on this one. 2-1 win for the hosts here. Of course, Forest will get off to a bit of a rusty start as they return to the Premier League. Spurs against Southampton. It is the Pochettino derby. That's right. Played each other 47 times in 1993. 24 wins for Spurs, 15 wins for Southampton, and 8 draws as well. Spurs, though, just one defeat past 6 for them, 75% form up against the Southampton side. Just 1 win in 6 games for them, 25% form as well. The biggest win for Spurs over Southampton, 7-2 win. The biggest win the other way is a 4-0 win. In fact, Spurs scored 84 goals compared to Southampton's 59. Works out around about 1.79 goals a game compared to the 1.26 by Southampton. Of course, Spurs did lose to Southampton last time around at their Fancy Pants new stadium with a 3-2 loss back in February 2022. And they also come on the back of a 1-0 loss to Mourinho's boys in a friendly. Of course, Southampton also lost to Villarreal over at St Mary's. The odds here, though, 5-2 on is your Spurs, 4-1 is your draw, and 6-1 is your long shots. I'm going with a big win here for Spurs here, 3-0 win to open up a nice start to the campaign. Moving forward is Everton up against Chelsea at Goodison Park. It is the Lampard derby. That's right. Played 69 times, dudes. 69 dudes. 15 wins for Everton, 32 wins for Chelsea, and 22 draws. Everton, though, winning 3 and losing 3 of the last 6. 50% form up against the Chelsea side. Of course, just 1 win in 3 for them. Of course, Chelsea's biggest win over Everton, 5-0 win. The biggest win anyway is a 3-1 win. Everton scored just 75 goals over the course of those 69 games. Works out about 1.9 goals a game compared to Chelsea's 113 goals scored in the 69 games, 1.64 goals per game as well. Last time around, though, of course, over in Everton was a 1-0 win for Everton. That was back on match number 35. Of course, may the first be with you. Of course, 3-1 win. Chelsea, of course, against Udinese last time around. Of course, Everton with a big 3-0 win over Dynamo Kiev. The odds are coming at you for this one. 50-4 is your Everton, 11-8 on is your Chelsea, 14-5 is your draw. Going with 3-0 win for Chelsea here. They'll reset the clocks as well, despite having a bad transfer window. And Everton, of course, a bit of a confused scenario with them right now. Don't know what's going on. Moving into Sunday's game, it's the 7th of August. It's the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester up against Brentford, of course. Leicester, though, winning 4 of the last 4 games against Brentford. Of course, they've played each other 4 times since 2020. Of course, Leicester, though, just 1 defeat past 6 for them, 75% form against the Brentford side. Just 1 defeat of the past 4, 58% form moving forward. Leicester, though, biggest win over Brentford, 3-1 win. In fact, they scored 8 goals compared to Brentford's 3 over the course of those 4 matches. Works out around 2 goals a game compared to Brentford's 0.75. Last time played at the King Power was a 2-1 win for Leicester back in March 2022. Leicester pick up a 2-1 over Preston in pre-season. Brentford with a 1-0 win over Betis as well. Moving forward, 2019 on is your Leicester, 14-5 is your draw, 5-2 is your Brentford. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure what business Leicester have been doing in the transfer market. It seems a bit quiet. They've kept hold of Tielemans, they've kept hold of the bigger boys, but what else is going to happen over the course of the summer? I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Leicester on this one. They've got the manager, I think, to do the job in the end. Into the final 2 now, it's Manchester United up against Brighton. That's right, at Old Trafford. Of course, Eric Ten Hag's debut up against Brighton, and of course, Graham Potter. Played each other 12 times since 2017. 9 wins for United, 3 wins for Brighton, 0 draws, of course. Just 1 defeat past 5 there for Man United right now, 58% form. Up against the Brighton side, just 1 defeat past 6, 75% form for them moving forward. The biggest win for United over Brighton, 3-0 win. The biggest win for Brighton over United was a 4-0 win. In fact, United scored 23 goals compared to Brighton's 13 over the course of those 12 games. Works out around about 1.92 goals a game compared to Brighton's 1.08. Last time played at Old Trafford was a 2-0 win for United back in February 2022. Of course, Man United did lose to Atletico. That was yesterday. Meanwhile, Brighton with a big 5-1 win over Espanyol. Of course, back on the 3rd 30th of July as well. Moving forward on the odds here, 2-1 on is your United, 10-3 draw, 94 is your away win. 3-1 win for United for me on this one. And of course, Ten Hag with a banger. And of course, a bit of a zinger here, wrapping up match number 1. It will be West Ham, it will be at Manchester City, it will be at the London Stadium. Pleasure the 51 times. These two sides, 11 wins for West Ham, 31 wins for Manchester City, and 9 draws. Of course, West Ham, though, just 1 defeat past 6 for them, 58% form. Against Man City side, just 1 defeat at the past 6 for them, 75% form for them moving forward. West Ham, though, biggest win over City, 4-1 win. The biggest win there was a 6-0 win. In fact, West Ham have scored 48 goals compared to City's 101. Works out around about 1.98 goals a game for City and 0.94 goals a game for West Ham. Last time pleasure over at the London Stadium was a 2-2 draw back in May 2022, which of course put some ramifications on the Premier League title race. The away side hasn't won this game since City beat West Ham back in match number 1 in 2019. West Ham with a 0-0 draw against Lens. Of course, City did lose that Charity Shield game against Liverpool, 3-1 win. 17-2 is your West Ham, a 3-1 on is your City, 7-2 is your draw. 2-2 in the end. Desmond 2-2 for me on this one. That is all I've got for this. And if I'm right, this is what the prediction, the table will look like. Liverpool will be top of the pops. Will they be ever removed from that spot? Chelsea will be in second, Spurs third, and United 4. It'll be a power 4 there, with of course the likes of City drawing, of course, on our opening day for me. So for me, that is what I've got on my locker. Of course, be sure to get involved with the prediction league. It's free to enter. It is super brew. It is super fantastic, and of course we'll be there for the whole shebang. And of course, make sure you smash your subscribe, smash the thumbs up, smash the little bell as well. Of course, as we look forward to a brand new season of Premier League football. Who's your tip for the title? Let me know down below. And of course, make sure you check out the other content on the channel, including Championship, Bundesliga, the Ligue 1 season kicks off in France with Messi, and of course Neymar leading the charge there. But of course, all that stuff to be had here on the channel. But until then, we're done right now.